Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Adolescence Unfiltered. This podcast is brought to you by the Health and Family Welfare Department, Meghalaya. I am Evangeline.
And I'm Emily. And as we've talked about in the previous episode, stepping into adolescence, in today's episode, we'll be talking about teens and relationships.
Oh.
A fun topic, right?
Fun topic.
Yes, so we'll be talking about teens and relationships, about building healthy relationships, talking about communication, consent, and many more things that will help us teens build a strong, healthy relationship, not just, dating, but, building strong relationships with our friends as well, with our parents as well. So we'll kick off this episode with a question.
Hello. Hey, slow down. We haven't even introduced our guest for today. She's just like, let's get to the point. Let's not introduce these people. Let's not introduce these people sitting next to us. We'll just ignore their presence altogether.
I was too excited. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I get it. I was too excited.
Yeah. Please, guys, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Melam. And that's
Hi, my name is Gracie Nandi.
I mean, you were here for the first episode.
Yes, I was.
This is your second time here.
It-
What is your experience?
See, it's a very fun place where you can just speak your heart out, what you
Mhm.
always wanted to. It's just like having a conversation with those friends, right? Just more than having the conversation with your friends. Now everyone can be a part of this group.
Yes.
Our viewers are our friends now.
Exactly.
Yes. This is a safe space for all of us to share our thoughts and stories.
Yeah.
So yes, again, see that we're
Now you can ask your question. Now you can ask your
it's like,
Have you guys ever dated?
question.
Have you ever been in a relationship?
lots of situationships.
Yeah, lots of situationships. How do you define a situationship?
You're kind of approaching a relationship, so you kind of feel like you're vibing with each other, everything's going well. Then, something throws off, or you get busy with lives, and then you tend to part ways.
I just heard you're busy with lies, and that's
Lives? No, not lives.
I just heard you're busy with lies, and forget it.
How about you, Gracie?
No, never been in a relationship, but yeah, sometimes interested in someone, but then you know something about it and you're like, never. No.
It's like red flag.
No.
How about you?
You like that? Single.
So we're all
Guys-
single here. Yes,
It's a
we're
fat
all-
bunch
It's not. It's nice. It's free by choice. Yes.
by choice. Sure. We tell that to ourselves. It's like to
Have night.
help you to have a sleep at night.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that was a.
What about you, Emily?
Where are you?
I'm single.
It's just a bunch of single
No,
people.
I am single. Yeah. I mean, like, if you did ask me out, but like you said, you find those icks.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you're like,
No, thank you.
It's better to be single for now.
Also, aren't we like you guys? Aren't you guys too young to even talk about that? I mean, what is
we have
the
to be open and free because
Are you open with your parents about dating and all of that?
yeah, like
Yeah.
we have that conversations like, oh, who's gonna like deal with your tantrums if not us? And then get
Exactly.
teased by our parents. I think I have that relationship with my parents.
What about you?
Well, I talk to my parents a lot about relationships and everything. Maybe someone I like, someone I have a crush on. It's pretty open. But
Are they okay with you dating?
with me dating right now, they kind of tell me it's not a good idea yet because there's still a lot of stuff I have to do. I mean, aside from academics, you're busy spending time with families or other work, stuff like
so what is the right time for teens to start dating? What is the right time? Like the age? From
that.
your perspective, what is like the right?
You can't tell anybody
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Now is the time.
When you can
Yeah.
balance everything
Yeah.
out, when you know
Ready.
yourself, when you
Yes,
mentally
listen.
prepared,
Exactly. When you're stable.
when you're stable.
Yes. Now coming to that, let's talk about communication because I feel like in relationships, communication is
Key.
key. It's needed. So, how about do you have a strong communication first with your parents or friends before coming to dating? Like, how's your communication with Okay, friends, siblings.
I think I have a great communication with. I try to have this great communication with my friends, my family, my siblings, and honestly, I'm very lucky to have like people around me like that, where I can just actually speak my mind about anything and talk about any problem that I have, be it relationships, anything. So I have a pretty good communication with everyone around me.
What about you,
So nice.
Mela?
Well, initially, I remember it was slow at first. People maybe hesitant to talk about specific things, stuff like that. But over time, as you tend to be more and more open for it, you push to be open with each other, transparent with how you feel, what you think. It improves. It really helps.
Yeah, so would hypothetically now, if you were in a relationship, would you bring that communication in the relationship? Like, you know? Because I feel, I've heard people not having that strong communication. They're scared to communicate or say things that, that
Because
they want to
I
say.
think as teenagers, no, we have the wrong concept of having a relationship.
Yes.
Like we
Can you
think,
elaborate on that?
like it's always like what we see on movies, like
Exactly.
going on dates,
Yeah, media,
seeing
social.
them,
Yeah.
going like on these picture perfect things,
Yeah.
and everything is so okay and butter smooth for them. Parents are okay, the families are good, you're happy. But I think in real life, it's a little different, right?
Yes.
We are human beings. Like we need to. It's not that that guy will read my mind and he should know
No,
why
I
I'm
want
sad.
That's,
Bye bye.
that's
Like
one-
you
Tell me why I'm mad at you.
He doesn't know why what you did to make me mad. Kind of a situation.
exactly. That's not romantic, by the
That's
way. It's not
It's not.
cute.
He's
That's
a
why-
human. You're a human. You have to tell them why you're angry.
Exactly.
Can't
But
read minds.
sometimes it just, I mean, how much can you tell a person?
Yeah,
Right?
sometimes
Yeah,
like, come
just
on,
like,
you
come
should
on.
understand what you want.
It's obvious.
It's
You did
obvious.
something wrong. Just say sorry.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Okay, guy. Well,
You're from
Your
what's your
perspective.
well,
Women are complicated. I don't blame you.
Well, I mean, on a guy's part, we do have responsibility to be able to communicate verbally, as well as to be able to understand body language, to understand how my partner thinks and behaves, what tendency she'll probably have. So all of those things, when you care and love someone, you spend time to learn these kind of things, and over time it improves your relationship. But I mean, even in cases, obviously, it's always a good thing when you're mad to tell us. We can't read minds. But normally, when people that are in longer relationships, they can tell, they do have a sense, an idea about it. But to get to get the message across, you still need to be able to communicate.
Especially as like young people know we have these long-term expectations in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like in a month or two of dating, you're like, why don't you understand me? You know, this is what I've seen around. No, my boyfriend doesn't understand me. You've been dating him for 2 weeks. Chill.
Yeah. You were looking at me.
No,
I was like,
it's-
huh? I was like,
It felt like an attack.
yeah, I was like, no, because truth be told, I was like that, but that was me long time back, in my early.
Because that's what we see on television. No, like high school sweethearts end up so happy, 10, 12 years relationship. That we start expecting at a very early.
Yes.
Like, read my mind. Why don't you know I'm sad?
Like everyone's your soul, like this person is your soulmate.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
But I don't know why we're only sticking to dating when I feel like relationship is,
Yeah.
I mean, inclusive of your relationship with parents or your friends. Like even among your friend group, I feel if something is bothering you, you should be able to openly
Yeah, tell them that you don't like it.
Yeah.
Without
setting those
being
boundaries.
afraid that
setting boundaries, mind you,
Very
very important. Especially as teenagers, I feel like we just tend to just go along with the world, just agree to everything, just go along because everybody is doing it. So I'll just
Yes, it's like a trend.
it's like
a trend to
to be accepted, to like be a part of that crowd.
like one of the biggest part about relationship is acceptance, right? And if we don't feel like we're accepted, we just tend to lose ourselves in the process, right? We tend to just,
instead of this interaction with this other person, it becomes I'm seeking their affection. I just want them to like me without it being a real thing.
Yes, that's really important to understand, right? Now, you've mentioned about setting boundaries, right? So, what do you understand, like, about setting boundaries? How would you set boundaries with your parents or your siblings, friends, dating? How would you set your boundaries? What boundaries would you set?
Well, it's different, I think, for different
different-
groups of people. I mean, you wouldn't be comfortable with a stranger as you would be comfortable with friends or another thing. So it's like different levels to it, I think. And at the closest, you have your parents, or if you have a long-term partner and stuff like that.
Yes. Do you ever set boundaries with your parents or your siblings?
I mean, there's no concept such as boundary when it comes to parents. It's my house, my
You're
own.
my child.
Can't
Go
even
for
get
your-
full sleep, full night's sleep. They're like, up.
No, those things I have, like boundaries. Those boundaries,
Yeah.
they appreciate.
You're
Like,
respecting
they have
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy.
Yeah.
This thing is very
They're
good in
having
my family
privacy.
that we give privacy with a lot of trust in each other.
Yeah.
It's not like my parents are going through my phone because
Yes.
they have the trust in me and I have the trust in them. Right?
Trust is a big thing, right?
Yeah, in
It's such
relationships,
boundaries
trust is a big
people.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it,
Trust,
yeah.
it's a big thing. Now, let's talk about consent. Like, with your parents, do you give consent to your parents?
What do you mean give consent?
Yeah.
Consent, like for example, you said, to like they don't check your phone, they don't go through your phone. But some
Me
parents,
giving them consent of checking the phone, they had the trust in me.
yeah,
To know.
because I've had some friends who whose parents are quite nosy. They would the trust is not there, so they would go through diaries, journals, phones, to the point where my friend had to be like, I have to give you the consent. You can't do this without my permission. It has led to that extent. So do you think it's important to give consent?
It's very important, I feel, to give privacy to your children. Although you feel like, they're still your babies and they have nothing to hide. But I mean, they have their own personal stuff they're dealing with. And this is not even the worst possible outcome. Like you've said, you about your friend going through your
Journals
your
and diaries.
friend's mom going through her journal. and all that. But I remember a case whereby this kid was very young, a teenager, started liking somebody and secretly had a phone because their parents wouldn't allow her. And what happened is she got caught. She got caught, and in the fear that she knows that there's like no such thing as a boundary or privacy, like they're gonna go through her phone and they're gonna see these messages. I'm texting this guy, and it led to her being so scared that she took her own life.
To that extent?
To that extent, because I mean, if there's no communication and there's no trust between a parent and a child, there's I mean, the what will I say? They're like more scared of them than they respect them.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, respect should be both ways, right? I mean, you respect.
Parents, I wouldn't say it's the parents' fault because they have I would say it looks like a faulty approach to getting your child to be safe. Obviously, every parent, wants us to be safe, wants their own child to be safe. But when you do it with like making them afraid of everything,
That's the worst.
that will damage them. Because imagine if someone grows up being afraid and then they're an adult, they'll be afraid of
Throughout
everything
their
throughout.
life.
That's very bad. So a very protecting your kids means being open, talking with each other, making them understand, telling them why this is bad, this isn't bad, and of course discipline. Growing up, you still need it,
Yeah.
but it isn't to the point that you
They're scared
push.
of you.
Yeah, they're scared of you. That is a very bad position.
Like what Neelam said, no, I think like the parents want us to be a little more transparent with them. I think they should also be a little transparent to us. Like this aspect of relationships and liking people shouldn't be a new thing. I think it
It's
should be
normal.
treated like a taboo, right? That's when the kid will start, I can't talk about this in front of my parents.
They're
Like-
gonna start hiding things from you.
That's
Make
the
it normal
worst.
thing to talk about it, make it as normal. It's a part of life.
Yeah, it's
Our parents liked each other at one point of time.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like one thing about parents is that they should because I've seen a few parents, they would joke around, talking about relationships. Oh, you like that guy.
Yeah, I guess that makes it more comfortable.
Makes it more comfortable. So I feel like that's how you build trust as well with your parents, and if you're open with whoever you're dating, or your friends, siblings, parents, the more you open up, I feel like the more they can trust you, right?
Yeah.
But you just can't open up like that. It takes time.
Yeah.
So patience should be the key, right?
Also the fact that like some places, in some areas, and in some families also, they always like, don't talk to boys, don't
Yeah.
talk to boys, don't go near them, go inside. I think that shouldn't be there. Then they won't be so curious to explore everything
Hmm.
fast.
Because the stinks were very curious.
Yeah, like
I
we've grew
had
up.
a schoolmate who had parents like that. Like they were very strict, would not let her go anywhere, like stay at home, like very strict. When I mean strict, I mean like strict,
Very.
very strict. So she would like do stuff like sneak out of school, bunk school. I mean,
Yeah, it becomes worse.
trying to prevent something bigger leads you to. I mean, something small leads you to a problem that are bigger than the one
Yeah, it's
protecting them from.
at least to something bigger, like you said, teenage pregnancies. It's the main topic for this podcast, right? We'll be talking about this in future episodes as well. We have to be able to talk to our parents about relationships, boys, periods, to ask about sex or anything. All of those stuffs, it's needed. Sex education is needed, to prevent all of those. You just can't be strict and make a person just sit in one place. That's not good, right?
I mean, when we say consent, right? What do you guys understand about the concept? Consent.
Permission. Consent is permission.
To give liberty to someone, like about you, right? Like even like the smallest thing, like a handshake or a hug or whatever.
Yeah.
Smallest thing.
So, like, when you say you give someone consent, does it have to be verbal always, or is it?
Well, communication, normally we either communicate with our words, with our language, and then there's also body language. I've had friends who've, told me with their words that, they don't like hugging and other things. But then I've also had friends who they didn't say it verbally, but when I go in for a hug, they, become closed off. So then I understand, even though they didn't say it, I understood from the way they acted, they didn't like it. So to me, even though they didn't tell me they didn't like it with their mouths, I could tell with their body they didn't like it. So that's like also a consent, a way of giving consent to be taken care of.
Do you talk to your parents mostly about such things like consent? Because I feel it's so crucial. It leads to bigger problems in a sense that people are not aware of what is consent, or it should be given, or if you're not comfortable, you should say something. That children are not even taught, because cases of harassment and sex, it doesn't only happen to people who are teenagers or adults. It happens to little kids also.
Yeah.
So, like, is it okay? I mean, is it necessary
important?
for
Yeah.
parents to talk about?
It is like, as you said about kids, it's so sad even hearing things about like this. But I think at an early age, parents should start telling the kids that it is okay to say no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
It
one
is-
thing.
But it is okay to say no to what? I mean, you're talking to a child, or you're talking to an early teenager who doesn't know the concept of sex. Forget consent; they don't even know the concept of sex, and they feel like, oh, it's okay because my mother can touch me. She bathes me. Like if you talk to a small child, right? So like it's okay if if a stranger or my neighbor whom I know will touch me, or in places where they shouldn't.
But if you see this way, even babies know, like if their mother goes to them and if a stranger goes to them like this, they do like
Yeah.
retaliate. So
Mm.
they understand what they like and what they don't. So we just have to teach that kid that you know what you don't like. You don't like being touched, say no. Be verbal about it.
Mm.
But in some families, it's like shh,
Yeah.
don't say.
Just
It's family only.
yeah.
It's about understanding the child as well. Like the parents should actually talk to the child.
Yeah.
Tell us, did anybody touch you that you don't like?
Yes, exactly.
I feel mostly they're scared also to reach out if cases like that do happen, because they feel like they blame themselves instead, thinking that maybe it's my fault that I didn't say anything. I just let it happen. I mean, it's dark, but I mean, it happened.
Yes.
It's a very sad reality about our world. Yeah.
Well, I have here 4 myths about consent. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on these myths, okay? Now, the first one says consent once given can't be taken away.
I mean, no.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Because exactly. I mean, you might think you want something. Like even I like we are moody. We say we want one thing. I mean, especially when it comes to sex, maybe like, or maybe their friends have pressured. Maybe friends have pressured you. The viewers out there, maybe friends have pressured you. Oh, you should just go for it. You're ready. I've done it. So if you should also do it. So maybe within that pressure, they're like, okay, I'll do it. But then getting into it, they feel like they're not comfortable. I'm not even talking about just physical relationship. I mean more than that also. So just getting into it, they might feel like, oh, this is not what I want, and you can always take it.
Say no.
I mean, nobody has authority over you. Nobody.
Even like in small things, like in a friend group, like if now I give you a hug and the 2-3 days later we have a fight, I'm not letting you come and give me a hug
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I can take it back whenever. I want.
Okay, well, the second one says it's more like the same, but here we go. Consent is only required once. No,
No. No.
totally agree with that. It's a big no. Like, you give.
Don't take it for
Settle.
granted.
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
yes all the time.
Yeah.
Depends on context of situations that you're in also.
True. Now the third one, asking for consent ruins the mood. Does it?
I mean,
ruin
who
the mood?
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's true. Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, if you're not comfortable with
Respecting.
Yeah.
We respect each other, so you ask for consent.
If anything, respecting your partner should be in.
Showing respect to your partner, asking for consent. Even when you know that you're in a relationship, asking for consent makes them realize that, oh, I am valued, I am respected.
Exactly.
Yes,
Makes you feel loved and appreciated.
exactly. Tips. Now, okay, the last one. Consent can be assumed.
No.
And you, do you agree with that?
no, man.
Very vague.
Very vague.
It's
Consent
very
can
vague.
be assumed.
Assume.
Yes. Now, since we've learned about consent, now let's learn about, let's discuss about signs of unhealthy relationships. What are the first
Red flags.
red flags?
Waving away.
What?
I'm a walking red flag.
Name some of the red flags.
Being passive aggressive would be one. If you don't like something about me, please say it to me. Don't be afraid, be open and communicate. Don't be passive aggressive. This is
Hot
bad
and
mouth.
cold.
Yeah, hot and cold. Don't be like that. That's a very big red flag, especially for relationships and all that.
Blaming me for being verbal for my emotion.
Oh.
Yes.
I know.
Have you been through
I
that?
mean, there are people who are so manipulative, they can just like twist and turn your story and making you feel guilty for feeling something. You shouldn't feel
Gaslighting.
guilty for anything. Any of the viewers watching, if you feel something, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. It's how you feel.
Exactly.
If they can't accept it, move along.
Somebody is making you feel bad for your emotions,
Bye bye.
walk out.
I mean, okay, there are times, I'm not saying, there are times we get a little bit irrational with our feelings, but I mean, it doesn't mean it's not valid.
Yeah.
I mean, just let us go through it and it'll pass.
Yeah.
It will pass.
Give them space to
Give
be
them-
themselves.
And especially when we talk about teenagers, we're still going through this very
Up and
down hormone. We don't know what we're thinking. So one moment we're happy, the next we're mad over a thing that doesn't even like make sense, doesn't even matter. But
Mood changes like this.
yeah, it changes so quickly.
If
So
somebody wants to be with me, like for say, be prepared to handle those.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Yeah, we can't forget about abuse, physical abuse, verbal
Oh.
abuse.
Oh yeah.
Those are huge red flags. Now, when it comes to abuse, we have to think about, support. Who's your strongest supporter?
I've even said this like
In the
previous episode also. Like biggest support is my sister and then my mother and everyone. Like mommy, you are there, but Didi, I love you more.
About How about you, Mila?
And my parents have always been supportive. They've always tried to guide me the best they could, and they've always tried to encourage me. If anything happens, tell them about it. They can help you through it without trying to crush you into a box and like put it in a corner.
But I feel like not everybody can have that support system.
Yeah.
Why? Because as teenagers, we tend to make the mistake of dating secretly and you can't share with your parents, and maybe your parents are strict, and maybe you're going through this very negative relationship with someone, be it with your boyfriend or whatever. Your friends, maybe they're like abusing you, or maybe you feel you can't talk to anyone. There are always professionals who can help you.
Yes.
You
No.
don't necessarily have to always go to your parents if you feel like you're not ready to.
Mm-hmm.
They're always, you can always call helplines. You can always call, call
These are licensed therapists.
licensed therapists.
They've like studied.
Not to mention, I mean, I'll just tell the viewers that, of course, we're just here as teenagers. We're talking about all of these things from experience, of course, and from what we've seen and what we've gone through in our teenage experiences. But we have to understand that we're not professionals,
Yeah. Yes.
and all that we're talking about is just based on our
Experiences.
what we
What do we feel?
what we feel and what we see around. But it's very important that we seek help from people who has the qualifications to help you.
us.
Yeah.
So in our future episodes, if any of you watching who are going through something, maybe going through the toxic relationship, be it with your friends or family, and and you feel like it has affected you mentally or physically, sometimes it's draining you. I mean, you feel like that we have the need to talk to someone, and we'll have
Yes.
expert in our future episode. And please do comment down below what you want us to talk about, or your
Yes, you can.
experience if you've gone through something that is so negative or so bad that you just want to let out, or you want advice from. I mean, please feel free to comment. If not publicly, we have a link which you can submit to anonymously your stories or anything, questions or anything.
Yes, another thing, like when we're talking about abuse, is that when the viewers and listeners out there, if you know that you're being abused physically, verbally, please don't keep quiet. Don't ever keep quiet, right? Because it's not good and it's not safe for you mentally, physically. It's not. So please reach out to anyone. Your family, your teachers, or even your friends. You need that help. You need support. That's why you should not be scared. Yes, so maybe some of the teens out there who are secretly dating, who don't dare share about these, please, if you're being abused, don't be scared. I'm sure your parents and whoever loves you, they'll be there for you and help you. So please, just reach out for help.
So, I mean, now that we've talked about that, we should also because we've been just focusing too much on what others are doing to us, like other people. I mean, we should also, when it comes to relationship, we're also a part. Like,
Yes,
we also contribute something. So I feel, what do you feel as individuals you should do to support and build and help build a healthy relationship?
Communication, efforts. Like in a relationship, there are two people, be it with anyone, with your friend, sibling, family. It's a two-way thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 50-50 efforts are always there. Expectations, keep your expectations that much how much you can provide.
Yes.
Don't have like too many expectations from
Unrealistic.
that side and one on give thing. I think that can contribute to a healthy relationship. Having an open mind and not being so like having
Defensive.
defensive, yeah. Don't have a wall around you.
Yeah.
Wall around them also that they can't also go.
To anyone you talk to, only me.
That's not healthy.
Have boundaries because it's very important.
Yeah.
Having boundaries does also mean that you have self-respect. It's not a bad thing to have boundaries. It's a bad thing to not have a boundary. Right.
Exactly. Right. So again, boundaries. You do have boundaries to respect your own space and privacy, but then at the same time, you're not like your walls are so high up that you don't let this person know you, because ultimately, whether it's a friendship or with your family or with your partner, you have to let this other person know you so that you can really interact, and the foundation of your interactions and relations can be genuine. No? Ultimately, you can help each other and support each other, because life sometimes can be hard. I think we can all agree on that. And having someone there by your side who genuinely understands you and can support you really helps.
talk about your feelings. Don't keep everything inside yourself.
Yeah.
If they are supposed to be with you, if they are good for you, they'll understand.
Being patient, yeah.
Being patient.
Say, for example, I have a partner whose tendencies would be to close up and she doesn't want to talk to me and all of that. Through time, I have to be patient with her and let her know.
Green flag, green flag right here. Oh, sweet.
But yeah, like it's important for all of us, giving each other time to be ourselves, to be comfortable, not forcing anything on each other.
Yeah, and girls also, like, don't expect them to read your mind. They're men, not magicians.
We can't like seriously, like, please.
Make
The,
it a little easy for them all.
the amount of friends I've had approach me telling me their girlfriends are mad and they have no clue why. And you have this other friend who's a girl, she's like, you should have known by now. Like, no, I don't.
Once you tell them, once, twice you tell them, and then let them.
Yeah. You'll
But they
remember.
keep making different mistakes every single time.
You remember your partner's preferences and likes and dislikes a
Yeah,
lot.
that-
you know? Small things matter. It's like those small things that build up to whatever you don't know they may be.
I am all for small things.
I
Like,
think as females, we
I mean,
look
I
for
don't. I
that
didn't mean that way. I was about to say this. I'm
Big
all
no.
for anything big or big or big.
What?
Big or big
efforts.
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 Take note.
Big or big efforts. Small ones.
Yes, girl. I know we tend to be dramatic. We love drama, but
We love drama. We love little things. I think as females, we love those things.
Holding the door open.
And guys look over that. Okay, sometimes they don't understand.
I think that the big things matter.
Yeah, big things don't matter.
I think one of the big thing is also to do a lot of self-reflection. I feel we're not perfect. We can tend to be. We're not always the good guy. I mean, in any scenario, you must be good to one person, you're bad to another. So it's always good to evaluate yourself and understand where you've gone wrong or when you've done something wrong. That and you work on yourself. I feel like it just keeps getting. It builds up to this very unhealthy relationship when you can't admit you're doing and
Partner also in the
same situation. So, but if you feel you reflect on yourself and you know where you're being toxic, you're being the toxic one. I mean, then it's normal. You can't just be always nice and happy. Like there are days when we just sometimes let it out on people who don't deserve it, and we just have to accept and maybe own up to our mistakes.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Apologize. Apologizing is one big thing, but it
Very big.
more than apologizing, work on yourself.
So okay.
Can you share a bit from your real life experiences, when it regards to relationship, so that we can reflect on, like what you said, to reflect on our own traits, to reflect on flaws, so we can help other teens as well. They can relate to our situation. Can you share? Mila, start with you.
Oh, well, with past relationships or potential relationships.
Past situation.
Situationship.
Well, we were all, I think back then, we were young. And so we just had this roller coaster.
Talking as though he's so old.
No, I'm not old. But no, like, no.
Back
Okay,
when
okay.
you were
Back
born
then,
yesterday.
a few, like 1 year ago, okay. A roller coaster of emotions going through it and maybe not being patient with each other, jumping the gun, meaning you like assume things about one another, and then either you get frustrated or you get mad, you don't talk to this person anymore, and then it just dies off in that way. So I do realize you require a lot more patience, require a lot more understanding, whether it's to reflect on yourself, whether you've been the one who's doing this,
Yeah.
or to have the patience on the person that you like when they're going through those, roller coaster emotion phases of their own.
Well,
So, of course, sometimes you get interested in someone and you're like, oh, maybe they are cute and maybe they are nice. But when this happens, I think subconsciously we try to mold ourselves in the way they like.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh gosh, it's so embarrassing to admit.
She's done that.
I mean, it's subconsciously it happens. Okay, like if oh, I like blue, I'll go wear a color blue or something like
Yeah.
that, just for them to like me. Do things that might not be what I like doing, but do it because they are doing it. So then, of course, right? Because you're attracted to someone, you want them also to be attracted.
Mm.
But now I've learned that if anybody has to like you, they like you the way you are. Don't
Yeah.
change yourself. Make yourself better. To work on yourself. But don't change yourself for a guy. Don't
Change yourself for the better. For you.
Better.
If you think you can be better, do it.
You can always be better. I feel like
Like, be your own person. You'll find a person someday. Don't search.
I don't know why we're stressing so much about relationships. They're so young.
I know, and I've not been in a relationship in the way I'm talking, but yeah,
Like we're giving advice now. We're handing advice.
I love that. You're very mature.
it's just what I've seen around me.
Yeah.
The
I observe. I'm a great listener, guys.
well,
Okay.
yeah. My friend said a smart person will, learn from others and not make the same mistakes. But a wise person will
Like,
observe.
just you are the
No, no.
Okay.
They learn from other
Wise.
people's mistakes too.
Is that what you're trying to say?
So you're calling me wise?
Yes, you're wise.
Thank you.
just
Just fishing for compliments.
Take it. Somebody gets it. Take.
Take.
Don't be like,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not. That's not.
I know that's also irritating.
I want to hear from you, man, about your experiences.
What do you mean, my real life experience? I have none. What do you mean? Oh, relationship.
Yeah, come on.
She's like, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
From your experience.
See, since you guys have stressed so much on relationships, I'll stress more on family and peers. I mean, you, like I said earlier, you understand yourself, who you are as a person. Reflect, know that you make mistakes. I mean, if you cannot just be like arrogant, always be like, no, I'm always right.
Yeah.
Just know that even you make mistakes and it's all right. And forgiveness, you have to learn to be kind. Throughout the years, I've learned that. You're going to meet a lot of people who has got, you never know, like the people we meet might go through something that we don't know about. And sometimes we say things that, that, oh, maybe, and I'm joking, but sometimes it hurts them.
True.
So you don't understand, why is this person mad at me? And you become mad at them instead. And like, it doesn't even make sense. It was just a simple joke. Like, you understand, right?
Yeah, people are different,
Yeah.
We've gone through different experiences.
We've gone through different experiences, so you never know what a person is truly feeling.
Mm.
Sometimes just because, like, you think it's like lighthearted and you feel like you didn't have the intention to hurt somebody, because nobody has that intention to hurt somebody intentionally, right?
Until you're a bully.
Until you're peer pressure and bullying is our next episode. Stay tuned. Plugging it.
Plugging.
So yeah, I feel like, what was I saying?
To what? Bullying.
What?
No, I said
you
bully.
said bullying.
Sorry.
Do not
Speaking-
hurt intentionally. Like, so,
Nobody would want to hurt you intentionally.
yeah.
So
what might be a small joke to you? Like, you didn't mean it.
you didn't mean
Go
anything,
by
but it might
But maybe it reminds them
of something that
someone that actually insulted them in that
Yeah.
way in the past.
trauma.
Yeah, so that kind of like makes you think, maybe I should apologize, ask for forgiveness. Don't be so adamant, so prideful, I'm the right one, why should I apologize? That's how a lot of relationships
Yeah.
go bad, whether it's relationships with family members or friends, and always be forgiving. And when you face a problem, don't just argue with each other,
Mm.
It's not you versus the other person, it's you and them versus the problem.
Yeah.
True.
It's
You work
Well,
together.
I'm so proud of myself. I'm wondering what dog.
And also picking on somebody's insecurities and making
It's the most
their
unattractive,
emotions humorous.
Yeah,
the most unattractive thing.
It's not making fun. Guys, don't do it. Girls are not up for it. It makes you more like
I mean, it goes both ways.
both
yeah,
ways.
both ways. Even for guys also, you make fun of it. Maybe for guys who are a bit okay, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, no man, come on. Who's okay with being make fun of your traumas and maybe
oh yeah, drop when it was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because amongst dude, we're kind of this rough and tumble now. You poke fun at it once or twice and maybe it hurts, but you kind of keep quiet with it and you show that you're okay with it. But deep down, Loki, that hurt, man. Loki, that broke my heart. But learning to understand and, accommodating for your friends' feelings and experiences also, be like that.
And also girls, like we take sometimes we take too much to the heart. Even if it's not meant for us, we're like, oh, you meant it for me.
I mean, can you blame it? It's the hormones, Gracie. You might
Yeah, but of course, you can't
let's
blame.
blame everything on hormones. It's a hormone.
I'm like writing notes now. Okay.
Whatever she says, it's on her.
Oh,
It's not my fault. But us blaming her, like, it's such a weird thing. When we blame it on hormones, we're like, fine. If the guy does it, we're like, how did he say this?
I mean, it's a complicated thing. Yeah.
Yeah, people are complicated.
Not-
That's a fact. Yeah.
You figure out what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me.
Yes, so we've learned so much about relationships, right? The do's and don'ts of relationships. To be patient, to be mindful, think before you speak. No, we have a green flag. Guys, learn. Oh, well, we've learned so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, flaws, for accepting your flaws, and for helping us teens all around, the viewers and listeners, to learn about relationships and everything. And this is a reminder for all of the viewers and listeners that we have counselors in health department and social welfare department, and helpline number will be given in the description below, so make sure to check that out. And like we've said earlier, if you're being abused, please do not just keep quiet. Ask for help. Contact these helpline numbers. Counselors are there and we're here. And do share your thoughts, your stories on whatever we've discussed today. You can share your thoughts and comments down below. So this was a fruitful discussion.
Thank you for having us.
Being here today, Gracie,
I thought you would not say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Appreciate my presence.
You appreciate your presence as well.
We appreciate you.
Green flag one-on-one. Love.
Just hitting all the
Right points.
points. He's plugging himself.
With compliments, I'll remember them all.
Oh wait, we haven't read we recently posted on our Instagram a anonymous link, and we got a few interesting posts, I'll say. I had all of you guys also posted, so I don't know which message is for whom.
Yeah.
I got really weird one also, like, everyone likes you.
Oh.
Who do you? Oh, it's
You, it's
I don't know.
you.
Oh my god. Who is this for? What is this, Milam?
I don't know. Probably my friends. They're like, you don't do
What are
this.
you doing? How are you, out of all people, going to tell people what to do?
No, it's like, I'm not telling you what to do. It's like a conversation, you know? We learn together.
Ish. Good save. Good. Yeah, he always has the right answer. Oh, another person is like talking to anyone. Yeah, we're talking to each other right now.
Yes, yes.
Talking to you.
That's the
Hello.
point.
Hi.
We talk to each other.
Hello, hi. Also, we have, okay, wait. Oh, somebody sent a really sweet message. This podcast is going to be the best one. When will it be available to watch? I mean,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. I mean, by the time you watch this, it's already been
Yes.
it's the second episode. Yeah, for any kind of updates. Can we please get together soon? I mean, if you want to come on the podcast, you're always welcome. If you have something interesting to say and if you have something valuable to contribute to our viewers and listeners, we'll always
We help
welcome you.
each other.
Hello, come on, contact us. You can always DM us on Instagram if you're really interested in coming to the podcast. We would love to have you, provided you're a teenager. Who was your crush in middle school? I didn't have a crush on who has a crush on middle school? Aren't you too young?
I do.
How old were you? Huh?
I
Really?
did, yes. I don't remember the name, though. I just remember the face.
Oh, I remember. Oh, I did too. Yeah. I've never met her again.
Oh, I have a really good one. Wait, I'll just read this one out. This will be the last one. Why do society judge teens based on their academic grades and not by their own capabilities and strength? Anybody can get a 90 if they work hard and still not learn a single thing.
Exactly. I think that reflects, kind of like how we view our education, whether we're studying just to get marks or we're studying because we like the subject. And obviously, sometimes we'll always encounter things that we don't like to study. I think in those cases, it's an example where you can be disciplined, to do something that you don't like, because that's growing up. you kind of have to do things that you don't like, whether it's waking up early, not bad things that you don't like peer pressure. Don't listen to all that. Like doing things that you don't like means waking up early, doing the difficult things, but important things in life.
So I feel with that we should conclude today's episode, right? So thank you so much. Where is the camera? There are so many, I don't know which one to look at. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you liked it. I hope you have taken something from what we've discussed today. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our podcast. We are available on YouTube, Savan, Google Podcasts, and all streaming platforms. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram for more updates, for more interactive sessions with you. And we have in our description an anonymous link, or you could just maybe submit your comments through YouTube comments. But if not, if you want to keep your name anonymous, you can always go through the link and chat with us.
Yes, you can always do that. And so thank you, viewers and listeners, for being with us here today. Hope you had a wonderful time with us. We surely did.
Thank you.
Then see you in the next episode.
See you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.